What's going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG online video, where today we're going to be talking about the deck that Chris Siakala used to make second place at the recent Utah Regional Championship. So huge shout out to Chris. He's a friend of mine. He actually is the guy who beat me in top 8 of Athens Regionals earlier this year. So, but yeah, huge props to Chris for making a deep run with this deck. Also, huge shout out to Azul Griego Garcia, who also made top 4 with the same list, just a 1-card difference, which we'll actually talk about that. So huge shout out to both Azul and Chris on their finishes, top 4 and second place. Awesome stuff. But yeah, this is Turbo Darkrai, guys, the deck that, you know, for the past few months has really been dominant in our format. Been a tier 1 deck since pretty much Athens Regionals, I'd say, is when it kind of started to gain some footing into the format. Let's go ahead and take a look at Chris's list and what makes it special, and we'll talk about the deck, and we'll play some games and see how this goes. So, Darkrai EX, the basic 180 HP Darkness Pokemon with the attack Dark Pulse, 20 damage, plus this attack does 20 more damage for each Dark Energy attached to all of your Pokemon, not just your active, not like your opponent and you, all of your Pokemon. So through Max Elixir, through the Oblivion Wing Eviltal, we'll get a lot of energies into play, and later on in the game, Dark Pulse can swing for a ton of damage. We also have Dark Head here. We probably won't ever use this attack, but you never know. 80 damage if your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep. This attack does 80 more damage for 3. So the only instance I could think that we might ever use Dark Head would be if our opponent was playing Snorlax GX and they put themselves to sleep with Collapse or something like that. That's like pretty much the only thing I could think about that would let us use Dark Head to do more damage than what Dark Pulse would do. So Dark Pulse is what we're going to be sticking with for the most part. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Pokemon lineup, and then we'll look at the rest of the things here. The other attacker we have in the deck is Eviltal with the Oblivion Wing attack. 30 damage, attach a Dark Energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Of course, this is a card that has been in the format for forever at this point. Since XY base set, this card has been around and has always been really good. This lets us get some early damage on the board, but also lets us keep getting energies in play. Also, Darkness Blade for 100 damage for 3 energies is not the worst attack on a non-EX. Flip a coin if tails, this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn, but if we play up against something like a Regice, Darkness Blade is going to be our only answer to that. We are also playing a copy of Hoopa EX. I really like Hoopa in this deck. I didn't initially, like, back whenever this deck first started coming into the forefront back in January of this year, I really didn't like Hoopa, but the more I've played with the deck, the more I really do like it. Just one Ultra Ball sets up your entire board. Scoundrel Ring lets you search your deck for 3 EX Pokemon when you play Hoopa from your hand onto your bench. So just grabbing 2 Darkrai's and a Shaman EX, or 3 Darkrai's if we already have a Shaman, or a Draw Supporter in our hand. Just, it lets us get our board totally set up. We are, of course, playing 4 copies of the Darkrai. I don't know that I mentioned that or not, but it's our best attacker. We're going to want multiples of them. Having energies spread out on the board is definitely nice. And 2 copies of Shaman EX here with the setup ability. You guys know this card is so good. There's a reason that it's in every single deck, Shaman EX. Alright, let's go ahead and expand the list and take a look at the rest of what we have to work with. I will also say, guys, this was posted on Pokemon.com, which I'll leave a link to in the description, but you can also find the deck list in the description down below. Let's go ahead and take a look at the things we have to work with here. First off, a couple of item cards. We've got Enhanced Hammer, discard a special energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This is really going to be for those decks like Mega Rayquaza, for Darkrai Dragons, just anything that relies on special energy. Being able to put them back in energy attachment is very strong. Things like Vespiquen, stuff like that, Enhanced Hammer can be good. 2 copies of Escape Rope gives us some utility switching. You know, we only play, we don't play any copies of Floatstone, so our only ways to switch around is going to be these switching cards like Escape Rope and Olympia and stuff like that, which we'll get to in just a minute. 4 copies of Max Elixir. This is going to let us look at the top 6 cards and just accelerate energies into play. This is one of the fastest ways for us to get off that early Dark Pulse. We can potentially get a turn 2 Dark Pulse, of course, or turn 1 Dark Pulse, I should say, if we go second, using Max Elixir and getting off a big attack there. 1 copy of Switch, just moving our active to our bench, bringing up something new that we want to attack with. A card that has been around since literally the beginning of the game, since base set, hasn't changed. Switch. Simple enough. We've got 4 copies of Trainer's Mail, and this is where Azul's and Chris's lists were different. Chris did play 4 copies of the Trainer's Mail. Azul opted to just play 3 copies of Trainer's Mail and opted to play the 3rd EXP share. So that's one change you could definitely make. I don't really see the reasoning for a 3rd EXP share unless you prize one of your 2 I guess just generally drawing into your EXP share a little earlier is nice in some instances, but for the most part, you can get through pretty much any game with just 2 EXP shares. 4 Ultra Balls here, just getting our Hoopa out and getting out our Yveltal, getting out our Darkrai, whatever we need to get out, and also one of our ways to discard Darkness energies so that we can use Yveltal's Oblivion Wing attack. 4 VS Seekers, allowing us to reuse any of our supporters down here. 1 copy of Parallel City. We can use this to get rid of our Shaymins and our Hoopas. We can also use this to limit our opponent's bench if we play against something like Rayquaza that requires a large bench. We can limit their options there. Also against like Volcanion, nice to either limit their damage or potentially knock some Pokemon off their bench, like knock off some Volcanion EXs early on that they didn't want to get knocked off. 2 copies of Silent Lab to try to slow down our opponent's setup against things like Volcanion as well. Keeping them from being able to use that Steam Up ability is very, very big, so Silent Lab is very good there. 1 copy of Hex Maniac as well, just all around a great supporter. Going to be great against things like the Decidueye Vileplume, going to be great against the Volcanion decks, against the Rayquaza decks. Like, so much of this format is reliant on abilities. Hex Maniac is very good for stopping those things. 2 copies of Lysander here, 3 copies of N, and 4 copies of Sycamore. Pretty standard setup for draws for supporters there. Pretty much every deck will have 2 Lysander, 3 N, and 4 Sycamore. We also have 1 copy of Olympia, one of those ways to switch Pokemon around. Also gives us a little bit of a healing option, healing 30 damage from the Pokemon that we switch to the bench. And also 1 Team Flare Grunt, kind of an interesting choice here. Discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. We could potentially use this in combination with Enhanced Hammer against something like Yveltal, where we could leave a Fright Knight Yveltal or an Yveltal EX stranded in the active with 0 energies on them. Also just Team Flare Grunt, just Disruption in general is good there. 2 copies of EXP Share, we already talked about this a little bit. If we have a Pokemon knocked out, we get to move an energy from that Pokemon to the Pokemon that has EXP Share on it. 2 copies of Fighting Fury Belt, just giving us extra HP, increasing our damage, and 12 copies of Darkness Energy. There's the list, guys. Once again, huge shout out and congratulations to Chris on his finish as well as Azul. Let's go ahead and hop in, grab a game, see what we can do, and see if we can't snag a win with Turbo Darkrai. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, please be sure to leave a like down below. Helps me out a ton. Lets me know you enjoy seeing what I'm doing on this channel. Also, be sure you are subscribed if you haven't yet. That way you can get notified anytime we go live. So, Minister Cinephile here. Mr. Cinephile, there we go. Not Minister. He's going to call the coin flip, and we'll see what he has. I kind of missed his typings. I think it was Metal... Was it Metal, Psychic, Colorless? So maybe we're going up against Mega Rayquaza. I think that might be what we are seeing, especially with the Rayquaza coin there. So we are going to take a mulligan. And I think this matchup is... You know, as someone who has played a lot of Rayquaza this season, I would say that this matchup is in Rayquaza's favor, but this list does have tools in order to potentially swing that matchup. We have the Parallel City, the Enhanced Hammer. It's just going to be here, can we draw into those pieces at the right time? So we do start in Yveltal. We are getting to go first, so maybe we can stick our opponent with a Silent Lab. If we can get a turn 1 Hex Maniac, that would be very, very good. But we'll see what my opponent draws. Or what my opponent flips over here, I should say. And it is indeed Rayquaza. Getting that Darkrai is very nice. Let's go ahead and see what we get here with Trainer's Mail. Well, that's not going to do us any good. So we'll go ahead and bench the Darkrai. We will max Elixir. Might not hit this. Okay, we do hit. Nice. I was going to say, since we have 2 Darkness Energies in our hand, we don't know how many we've prized or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and attach the energy to Yveltal. There's a chance it could be knocked out this turn, but I don't think that's super likely. We could have end to limit my opponent's hand size, but sometimes Rayquaza having large hands can hurt them since they're not able to use Shaymin EX's setup ability. So, interesting choices here. We could use Hoopa, use Scoundrel, grab out 2 more Darkrai's and a Shaymin EX, and then we could also Ultra Ball and get rid of another Darkness Energy. And I think we are just going to go ahead and use Hoopa. We might actually just grab the 2 Darkrai's and we'll use the Ultra Ball to grab a Shaymin. We did prize one of our Shaymins, which is unfortunate, but we have our other Yveltal, Oblivion Wing. We do have both Silent Labs in the deck. There's our Hex. Team Flare Grunt could be big. Do we have Parallel City? We do not have Parallel City, and I think we do have Enhanced Hammer. Okay, that is good as well. and we have 2 Fury Belts. So Fury Belt is also an important card in this matchup because that means that Rayquaza has to have a full bench of 8 Pokemon in order to do any real damage there, in order to take a one-hit knockout. So we'll go ahead and grab the Shaman EX. We're trying to hit the Silent Lab at this point. There's a chance that, of course, there's a chance that my opponent does have a Skyfield in their hand, but I think either way we should try to set up to see if we can get that to get the Skyfield on turn 1, or the Silent Lab, excuse me. So we're not going to take the Ultra Ball there. I think we're actually going to set up, since we're looking for a specific card. This gives us higher chances. If any of the top 8 cards is a Silent Lab, we will be able to draw it with the mail. We did find the Silent Lab here right off the bat, so that is good. We'll go ahead and get that in play. And we're just going to click done. On to my opponent's turn. There's a chance they could knock out the Eviltal, but they would have to have like an Ultra Ball and a Metal Energy in their hands. They still need a lot. They did have a large opening hand. Maybe we should have ended them actually, but no, it looks like they're just going to go for a Skyla here and grabs the Skyfield. Okay, so this you know, gets rid of the Silent Lab, but I think it was good we went ahead and played the Skyfield, or the Silent Lab, excuse me, because that forces them to go out of their way, use the Skyla for the Skyfield, which they might not have normally wanted to do. Have to bench a Dragonite and then use Shaman's setup ability to just draw 2 cards, so... Okay, they do get a Hoopa though. I was going to say, so maybe they won't have a great turn here, but getting a Hoopa is really all they need to kind of pop off. I'm thinking they may not have a lot of other playable cards in their hand, but since they didn't really play much before they used Shaman's setup. But he's just going to grab a Shaman, a Magearna, and a Mega Rayquaza. Of course, since he does have the Spirit Link already down, he can just go ahead and Mega Evolve. Due to the Mega Rayquaza's Delta Evolution Ancient trait, lets it evolve on the very first turn. He's going to set up for 1 here. So, not looking hot for my opponent, to be honest. VS Seeker here is going to grab Skyla, but he's already played a supporter for his turn. Not sure why he would play the VS Seeker now in case we end him or something like that, but he's going to do it. So, on to our turn. We already have 2 Darkness Energies down here. Let's see if we can get maybe like a Fighting Fury Belt. That would be good. We actually could get a Team Flare Grunt, which I wouldn't hate. Just keep slowing our opponent down. We know they didn't really do anything outside of setup for 1. They could have another supporter in their hand, but we'll just go ahead. We're going to Team Flare Grunt here. Get rid of some energy. Get another energy in play. And we're going to Oblivion Wing. And we're going to keep spreading our energies out, making it so, like, if we put 2 energies on 1 Darkrai, all my opponent has to do is Lysander and bring it up and take a knockout. My opponent is still going to be forced to find a double colorless, a way to discard a Metal Energy and a Mega Turbo on this turn, which they could do. Let's see if they discard a Metal Energy with this Ultra Ball here. But then if he does that, he is only getting a non-EX knockout, of course. He does discard 2 Metal Energies. So let's see if he is able to find the Mega Turbo plus double colorless energy. Looks like we see the Mega Turbo there, so all he needs is the DCE. And let's see if he can find it off of 3 cards. 3 left in the deck, assuming he didn't prize any. Could also be playing Puzzle of Time as well. You're going to see a Trainer's Mail. Also, just a regular Metal Energy plus another Mega Turbo would do it. But he's going to grab a Lysander here, so we might be forced to find one of our switching cards on the next turn. But let's see what he gets rid of with this Ultra Ball. He does have 1 Shaman left, assuming he does play 4, and he didn't prize 1. But he's going to Ultra Ball discard the Lysander and the Skyla that he played the VS Seeker for last turn. He hasn't played a supporter yet this turn. And we did prize our Parallel City, so we're going to want to try to find our other Silent Lab if we can. And looks like he's just going to grab the Rayquaza there. And he did have his other Shaman in his hand. Okay. So setting up for 4. Let's see if he finds the double colorless energy or not. 25 card deck. Has decent odds to hit it, but let's see if he was able to grab it. Okay, off the Sycamore here. He definitely should be able to get it. He could have Mega Evolved. He actually had to get rid of multiple Hex Maniacs, but he's just going to get his double colorless. He's going to take his knockout here. And we're going to have to end our opponent and hope that we can draw into our last stadium since we did prize our double colorless. Don't have an EXP share in play, which is really not good at all, actually. And yeah, we're going to have to end here. Hoping to find Fighting Fury Belt in a stadium. Enhanced Hammer is nice. We do get the stadium as well. Yeah, so I think we hold the escape rope. We don't need to play that. Definitely play the Enhanced Hammer. Silent Lab as well. Let's see what they discard. We should have technically played the Silent Lab before the Enhanced Hammer, I guess, but I don't think that would change much of what my opponent is going to get rid of here. And we're just going to Dark Pulse here for 100. Next turn, if he doesn't knock us out, we will be able to take the knockout. Maybe we should have, before we played the Silent Lab, gone with Ultra Ball, grabbed... Oh no, our other Shaman's Prize. Never mind, we couldn't have done that. But he does have Skyfield here, so let's see if he is able... Yep. With Dragonite, that is going to give him a lot of draw options this turn. He's going to grab 2 Shaman EX. He does need to find a double colorless energy. And yeah, we unfortunately were unable to find... Unable to find our Fury Belts, which would have been nice, but he did have the Dragonite either way. Prizing our Perilous City is unfortunate. He does get Mega Turbo here. Let's see where he puts this one. So he might have a Metal Energy in his hand. Yep. And we're not able to keep any energies in play, unfortunately. 20, 40, 60, 80. Not even taking a knockout. We're going to go here, and we're going to have to escape rope here. Okay, that's actually not a great top deck. Okay, we're going to Ultra Ball, Darkness Energy, and Darkrai. Yeah, that was a really bad top deck. We're going to play the escape rope. And we just need to get some more energies in play, so we're going to send up Yveltal, of course. I knew you'd send up Dragonite, but not really much else we can do at this point. We do get energies, and we get a Max Elixir as well. So let's do this. We do hit. Very good. He's smiling, so he must have a good hand off of that end. Let's put this onto the Shaman. I want to put Fury Belts on both of these guys if I can. And we're just going to Oblivion Wing, just for 30. He is going to take a knockout on this Yveltal. And we are hopefully... I think we should just put it on the Hoopa. We are hopefully going to be able to find a Fury Belt next turn and try to make some sort of comeback here. But if he's able to make another Mega Rayquaza, it's going to be bad. He's only played one Sycamore, his only draw supporter this game. He is down 2 DCEs. There's a metal coming down, so his last metal, most likely. And we are going to keep an energy in play. Bring up Darkrai. Alright, Max Elixir. Let's see if we hit. We do. We'll put it on the Hoopa, and we'll attach the energy to Darkrai. And I think we actually just need to end here. I know he didn't really play any cards, but I think N is still correct. He may just be holding stuff, and he did just take a prize as well. Puts him at much less cards. We do find the Fighting Fury Belt, which could be big. So we really need to find Parallel City here off of our prizes, I think. And just hope he doesn't have a DCE right now. He needs a DCE and 2 more Pokemon in order to win, or a Lysander and a DCE. Just debating, do we play Max Elixir at any point? I think we hold it. We're already taking the knockout here. So yeah, 170 damage. Hitting for a lot. Now let's go ahead and grab 2 prizes. We get a Shaman and a Sycamore, neither of which is going to be great right now. Shaman, I guess, is okay. Will let us draw a couple cards. But he's just going to send up his Dragonite. Benches a Rayquaza. Goes into this Rayquaza. Has the double colors. Does he have a Pokemon? No, he does not. So we need to get... Okay, we need... Maybe he just miscalculated there? We need to get a Fighting Fury Belt, mainly. Or we could Team Flare Grunt as well. I think we go switch Team Flare Grunt and attack. But I really want... I really want a Fighting Fury Belt for this one. We're going to go ahead and play the Max Elixir. We do hit. We see the Fighting Fury Belt, so I knew it was in there, but we'll go ahead and put it on Shaman. I think this is going to be our best play. He only has one DCE left. Yeah, so I think we're just going to do it. Team Flare Grunt. Gonna get rid of the DCE. We're gonna Shaman set up for 2, see if we can hit that Fury Belt. We do hit it, so that is big. And we'll Dark Pulse here. Wow, 190. We can still win this game. It is not looking great for us, though. Sycamore. So he just needs a Pokemon and a DCE. Does he find it? Pokemon and a DCE. He's got a Spirit Link, so he can make his last Mega Ray. He's got the Pokemon. Did he get the double colorless? Floatstone. Come on, man. If you have it, you have it. Why is he playing his VS Seeker now? He should hold that. We haven't played a Lysander yet this game. Do we prize both of our Lysanders? But he's going to grab a Lysander, so just kind of taunting us, I guess, there with that. Saying, like, I've got a Lysander for the next turn to bring up one of your Shamans or your Darkrai. All he does need to do is Sky Return this Darkrai. So we take a knockout on this. We don't have a VS Seeker. I think, okay, to keep him from Sky Returning and KOing this Darkrai, we know he has a Lysander in his hand. So this might seem weird, but I think what we're going to do is actually Escape Rope into this Darkrai, and then Olympia back into this Darkrai to heal the damage, to keep him from just KOing us with a Sky Return. I guess he could still KO it with an Intensifying Burn, though, so it doesn't even really make that big of a difference. It actually makes no difference at all. Yeah, that didn't make any difference. We shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. We do get a knockout here with Dark Pulse. We just have to hope. We get Lysander EXP share. We have to hope that my opponent doesn't have a way to knock out this Darkrai. He has a Lysander. We know he's going to play Professor Sycamore. Okay, so he needs his last... He needs a Pokemon, his last Mega Turbo, and his last DCE. He fails the Trainer's Mail, so he may have prized his last Mega Turbo. If that might... Nope, there it is. Never mind. I was going to say, if that was something he's digging for... Does he have his last DCE, and does he have a Pokemon to put down? No, he doesn't. I think the last card in his deck is going to be that double colors, but now we can just end. Why would he do that? What? Why would he do that? Oh, I guess he's saying he doesn't have a way, he can't win because his last DCE is prized. Wow. I guess he just didn't have a way to win because his last DCE was prized. All we had to do was pass there and he would deck out or take a knockout with our Darkrai. So, had a not great start. I didn't think we were going to have a good shot in that one, but those Disruption cards ended up coming through. That Team Flare Grunt, that Enhanced Hammer were very, very nice there. Yeah, we had a pretty bad start, so Got a little lucky there in that one, winning that one, but a win is definitely a win. So here we go, up against a Grass and Colorless deck, which is almost certainly going to be Decidueye Vileplume, which I think is generally one of the harder matchups for this deck as well. I know I just said that about Rayquaza, but we know we have the Hex Maniac. We can definitely try to make something work here. So we do see the Decidueye Vileplume, nothing else there that looks out of the ordinary. And we didn't see Lightning or Psychic or Water or anything like that, so this is not going to be that, this is not going to be the version with the Rainbow Energies and the different types of attackers. Going to be looking like a standard Decidueye Vileplume version. Alright, so he does start a Rowlet. And let's see what... nope, double colorless, okay. Let's see if he is able to get that turn 1 item lock using Vileplume's Irritating Pollen, of course, preventing both players from playing any item cards. If we don't get a turn of items, that would be unfortunate. Here comes his Oddish. We have a great hand as well for if we don't get item locked. Well, let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. He's going to Shaman and set up there. We do see the Tauros come down, which is concerning. Tauros is a little harder for Decidueye, or for Turbo Darkrai to deal with in the early turns of the game. Have to soften it up with a couple of with an Oblivion Wing maybe, and then later on in the game try to knock it out with Dark Pulse. Alright, so he gets another Rowlet out. Didn't find a Forest, so that might be what's holding him back here. Via Seeker. Interesting. Most Decidueye Vileplume lists do not play via Seeker. Not sure why he would go ahead and play it now, though. And onto our turn, so we do get a turn at least. Alright. So I think here, with the Ultra Ball, we're going to get rid of the... definitely the Dark, and I guess the Switch. Switch or via Seeker, it's one of these two. But I think it's going to be the Switch. Yeah. If we KO a Vileplume later on down the road, the via Seeker can be nice. We prized 2 Darkrai's, unfortunately. We might not... so I guess we're not even going to grab Hoopa since we don't have another Darkrai. And I guess in this matchup you generally don't want to bench a bunch of unnecessary stuff. But we're really going to have to draw pretty well off of this Shaman for 4. We're going to need a draw supporter to really get things going for us here. Not going to play the Silent Lab, of course, because that would shut off Shaman's set-up ability. So let's go ahead and set up for 4 cards. Do get a Dark, get an Escape Rope. EXP Share is good as well. And we know my opponent has an N in their hand, right? So I think we save the Silent Lab because we know they have an N, so they have a good chance of drawing a Forest. So I think we're just going to Oblivion Wing here. Hit the Rowlet for 30. And we'll get a Dark on this Darkrai right here. On to my opponent's turn. Let's see if they're able to get anything going. Kind of a slow start from them. Not being able to draw the Forest is pretty bad for Decidueye, of course. He's going to go ahead and put a DCE on his Tauros, though. And will we see the N or not this turn? He's going to retreat. Special Charge going to put the double colorless back. What? It's very interesting. So Special Charge makes sense in non-Vileplume versions of this deck, I think, but if you're playing the Vileplume version, Via Seekers and Special Charge are cards that you generally don't want to play. So very interesting. We have a little bit more to work with in this hand than we did in our last hand, so hopefully my opponent doesn't get the Vileplume once again. And looks like they actually will miss, which is great for us. We could use Ultra Ball to get another Shaman, but there's really no need for that. Excuse me, guys. I'm like having a bad cough today. I think we are going to Ultra Ball for Hoopa and just Sycamore away the Hoopa. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. We could still use Shaman, but Hoopa is not really going to do much for us. Team Flare Gun's actually really good in this matchup as well. Silent Lab and Parallel are both good as well. So yeah, we're just going to get rid of this dude. Let's go and see what we hit here off the mail. Another Max Elixir. So multiple Max Elixirs or Fury Belts. I think we're going to go with Max. I think we're going to go with Fury Belt. We have a Max Elixir in our hand. We're going to attach an energy with Oblivion Wing. We still can attach an energy for a turn. Nice. So we do get that. Fury Belt comes down. No reason to play the Escape Rope. And we're just going to Sycamore. Want to keep energies in play as long as we can. Didn't get an energy attachment this turn actually yet. We could Ultra Ball for a Shaman to try to dig for it. No reason to play the Silent Lab yet. We actually might, at this point, his bench is full. I think we can get rid of one of the Silent Labs. Yeah, we'll get rid of Silent Lab and N. We will grab Shaman EX. I want to get an energy on board this turn. We have 7 in the deck. Go ahead and play the Trainer's Mail. Another Fighting Fury Belt is okay. Perilous City actually might be better. We can use this to get rid of our Shaman. One of our Shamans, I should say. I think we actually want to hold Perilous City. I think we actually might get Fury Belt and put it on the Evil Tall, giving us another turn of Oblivion Wing. Could be very good. So this also, unfortunately, will give him make it so he can Mad Bull for more damage potentially, though. We do get the energy attachment we wanted, which is good. We're actually going to spread it out, so we'll put one on Shaman EX, and we'll Oblivion Wing for 40, and we'll just put an energy onto Darkrai, so we can have that guy ready to go. I don't know, maybe we want this guy to go down this turn. Oh, I should have played the VS Seeker. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. Should have played the VS Seeker for an N or a Sycamore. So, big oversight on my part. Hopefully it doesn't matter too much. Maybe if he misses Vileplume this turn, it'll actually be better for us. But if he doesn't, then, yeah, that's going to be a whoopsie on me. So we'll see where he puts his Feather Arrow. Top deck of, like, an Olympia or an Escape Rope would be nice to start swinging with Darkrai. But we kind of want to be able to knock this out. So we're hitting for 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 40. So if we can switch without having to discard energies, without having to retreat Evil Tall, we will be able to take a knockout on the Tauros, which would be really big. Excuse me, guys. So we'll see a Floatstone go on the Tauros. He's going to go ahead and Feather Arrow onto the Darkrai, the thing that has energy, the thing that could be the threat. And just a Horn Attack, alright. I really don't want to attack into this thing. Okay. I think we're going to end here. I'm really wary about Oblivion Winging again because that means he can Lysander plus Mad Bull and take a lot of energy out of play. But we would get to keep one with EXP share. Alright, so if we just retreat this, we're hitting for 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 10. So that wouldn't work. We need to hit our other Escape Rope. But then, you know, he brings something else up. So I think we're just going to put the Dark Energy on Shaman. Keep our Dark Energies kind of spread around. We'll go ahead and play the Silent Lab. Might seem kind of weird, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and play the Silent Lab. I don't really know that I want to end, though. I don't want to, definitely don't want to Sycamore, get rid of all these draw supporters, so I think we are just going to end. Okay, Max Elixir, that's nice. And since we're not going to attach any energies with Oblivion Wing, we're actually just going to pass. Which, like I said earlier, may seem weird, but I think is going to be correct. We're going to play VS Seeker, we're going to grab an N. Since there's a chance he gets Vileplume. I should have done that on the last turn. Ended up working out that I didn't, but definitely should have. So we're just going to pass. And we'll see what my opponent does. He is taking us out with Horn Attack. He could bring up the Decidueye and Razor Leaf for the knockout. I don't know that I would agree with that play necessarily, though. We do have Lysander, though, so if the Vileplume comes out, we can Lysander and KO that. So he's going to go ahead and get out a second Decidueye. All the birds out to play, and he's going to Lily here, so our opponent is playing a very interesting list, that is for sure. We're going to go ahead and get out another Dartrix. Does he have the Forest to get out a third Decidueye? Does he not play Forest? Like, we haven't seen one from him yet, which is very odd at this point. 22 cards left. Normally these decks play 4 copies of Forest. Yeah, but unfortunately, prizing both Decidueyes, or 2 Darkrai's, hurts us a lot, being able to keep energies on attackers. But we'll see what he does. We are not going to be able to knock out a Decidueye, unfortunately, but he's just going to Horn Attack, so he's kind of conceding this Tauros, just going to let us take it out. So we need to bring up Darkrai here. We had a Hex, that would be huge here. So we're hitting for 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 180. So not enough to knock out a Decidueye yet. I don't want a Sycamore. We're just going to end. I really would have liked to have had a Hex that turn, but wasn't like we just didn't have one. We will take a knockout here at least, so hopefully with that... Ooh, that's big, actually. The Enhanced Hammer is really nice. Yeah, we'll take the Enhanced Hammer. That's actually really nice. So hopefully we can take a Darkrai off the prizes here. That would be really nice. And we'll Dark Pulse for 190. And take 2 prizes, Darkrai, EXP Share, and Dark Energy. EXP Share is nice, but if he item locks us, that's not going to be as nice, and we definitely need another Darkrai. We're going to have a lot of energies on this Darkrai by the end of the game, I'm predicting. But he's deciding what to promote here. Getting rid of that double colorless was pretty nice, drawing into that Enhanced Hammer at a pretty opportune moment. And he's just going to bring up Decidueye, so he could Hollow Hunt this turn if he gets a DCE. He could Razor Leaf. He does have the DCE. So it looks like we will see a Razor Leaf. He will not be able to knock out this Darkrai, but I think the way the math is working right now, he hits us, pings us for 40, hits us for 90. Next turn, he should be able to knock us out with Feather Arrows, meaning that our EXP shares will not trigger, which is not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. So we could next turn Lysander up a Shaman, take a knockout. We could Olympia to heal the Darkrai. We might do that if it does end up saving it. We'll have to do some math after his turn is over. I actually don't hate that play at all. But we're going to have so many energies. Like, we're going to have to EXP share the Shaman, I'm pretty sure. But we could also... So we're hitting... Oh, no, he's going to Lysander. Okay, so change my plans. He might take out a Shaman. Yep, with the 2 energies on it. Okay. And he goes down to a 0-card hand. He will take 2 prizes here, though. But we will get to keep one of these energies in play. Would have liked to have kept both, but beggars can't be choosers. I think we'll just send up Darkrai here. So he would need to make another Decidueye in order to knock us out, which he definitely could do. He's got 2 Dartrix. If we Lysander this, he has to find a Floatstone. That could let us get 2 hits off on this. He had a 0-card hand, So I'm going to risk it here. This is definitely kind of risky, but I think we're going to, at this point, have to take a couple of risks if we want to win this one. And we're going to hope we can stick this guy for a couple turns here. So 190 again. And yeah, we'll see what he's able to do. Level ball here. Doesn't have a bench spot, but I guess just drawing something he doesn't want to draw anymore. And did he get a Sycamore off of his 2 prizes? He definitely may have. If he knew, like, if he knew he had Sycamores left in his prizes, you know, that gives him decent odds of drawing them. Which is one of the reasons why it's always nice to check your prizes and know what you have to work with and what you could have prized. Feather Arrow is going to go on to Darkrai. Another one. Okay, on to our turn. So he must not have a good hand at all. So we could Olympia. And then he doesn't really have a way of knocking this one out, but this one has so many energies on it. I think we are going to do that. We're going to go ahead and VS Seeker in case he does get Vileplume. We're going to actually grab Lysander with this. And we're going to, you know what? I said we're never going to use Dark Head, but we're going to go ahead and Dark Head, since that does 80, and do the knockout. And take 2 prizes. Hopefully we get a Darkrai, nice, and a Max Elixir. So if he doesn't item lock us, that'll be good. So we can potentially make another Darkrai in just 1 turn. But next turn, he knows we have the Lysander in our hand. If he doesn't have a way to get this Shaman off the field, we could take the game on the next turn. Feather Arrow, let's see where he puts it. On the active. We have the game in our hands. Yes, okay, so that is going to do it. He knows we have the Lysander. We're gonna see if we can hit this Max Elixir here. Nope. Pretty low odds. We've got a lot in play and 2 in our hand, so yeah, we'll do that. And we'll go ahead and just Lysander up Shaman EX. Nice. And take the knockout with Dark Pulse. So taking a couple of games here in today's video, and 2 matchups that I would say are generally unfavored for this deck. I would say Decidueye is probably one of the worst matchups among the meta decks that you could play against, and Rayquaza can definitely be unfavorable, but we have the tools that can allow us to swing that matchup. The Hex Maniac, the Parallel City, the Enhanced Hammer, Team Playground, all those cards came in clutch in today's video. So definitely, guys, let me know what you think of this deck down below. I enjoyed a lot. Turbo Dark's been a really fun deck for me to play. Huge shout out once again to Chris and Azul on both of their finishes. Check out the links in the description to the Pokemon website where you can see these deck lists, and I'll also have the deck list just in the description as well, as I always do. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here, and until next time, take care.